Hey everyone, in this video we'll be taking a look at new Tier 10 British premium tank FV225. This is the first dual barrel British tank. However, the dual barrel mechanic works slightly different. So in a normal dual barrel like ST2, what you can do is fire the first gun, then you can fire the second gun while the first gun is reloading, and then you can fire both the guns when both the guns are reloaded. However, you have a cooldown penalty. In this tank, you can only fire the single shot as long as both the guns are loaded. So basically you're firing single shot, wait for it to reload, fire single shot, wait for it to reload, and so on. You might ask, how is it dual barrel? Well, you have to think of this tank as a 700 alpha single shot tank. So you're always play on the 700 alpha. You have the decent gun as well with 272 standard pen, and there is no cooldown penalty, and that's how it's different. You're playing on the 700 alpha gun using both the barrels, and then if someone's low health, then you use the single shot, which means you don't have to wait that long for reload again. So essentially, it can be thought of as a sort of a techno drone, where different shells have different reload. You can kind of think of it like that, but not really, because when you fire one shell, it reloads quickly, and then you have both the guns ready as well. So the best way to play this tank is always play on double shot, but if someone's low, then you can use a single barrel and then back to double shot again. Do not play it as ST2, where you're firing single shot, maximizing DPM. It doesn't work like that because it does not have the cooldown when you fire dual barrel, and hence the tank is actually better than expected, than I initially thought. The tank is currently available as Ultimate Season Pass bundle as part of Overlord season, so you can get this tank for 4,000 gold or additional 4,000 gold along with the skin and commander. So let's get started with the setup I'm using. For equipment, using advanced loader, gun stabilizer, improved ventilation. For consumables, using 3 large consumables, medkit, repair kit, and rations, using the 3D skin. For crew skills, I'm using my chieftain crew, so bond leader, rapid loading, steady aim, snapshot, 6 sense, situational awareness, safe storage, track mechanic, and run and gun. The accuracy is pretty decent, so you can swap some of these skills as well as needed. I'm just using the same crew. Looking at the armor is not as good as Valor or even Chieftain, and that's because you have a high alpha to compensate for it. It has 8 degrees of gun depression and slightly worse armor, so gun mantlet is 270, you can pen it if you can hit it. Then behind gun mantlet is 250 of angle armor, a standard shell won't go through it. Then 230 plate on the side of mantlet, 210 on the side, and then the cheeks are 200 mm. Upper part of the hull is 170, also very pennable. That's where I was getting penned. The hatch is also 170, but hatch is very small, so difficult to hit. Not much of a problem. Upper hull 152, so is the lower plate. So you will get penned on the lower plate all day. Expect the armor, the lower plate on the side to work same as the Chieftain or Valor or any British tank. Then the upper side is 140. Rear turret or side of the turret is 110. Side armor 76 mm. Rear turret 70 mm. Then rear armor is 60, so you will get clipped by T249, similar to any other British tank if they come behind you. Then you have 25 mm of tracks, and additional 10 mm of side plate. In the armor viewer, it looks like there's a gap, but it isn't. I think there's like a modeling issue, because when you look at the tank, there isn't any gap between the side plate and the tank. Yeah, right here. So there seems to be this issue with the model as well as when you're looking at the armor viewer. Looking at the module, you have engine in the back, ammo rack in the center of the hull, as well as the rear turret towards the right side. 4 crew members, 4 in the hull and 4 in the turret and a driver in the hull. Now looking at the stats, and this is after my equipment and setup. Forward speed 45, reverse 12, horsepower 16.5, 2200 HP, 30 degrees of hull rotation, terrain resistance of 2, 1.17, 0.99 respectively. Concealment 422, not much. I mean, what do you expect from a heavy tank? Turret rotation 38, accuracy during rotation 0.39, gun depression 8, elevation 20 degrees, reload 6.19 for one gun, accuracy 0.24 at 100 meters, aim time 1.63, accuracy during movement 1.19, get 40 shells, standard APDS, premium heat, and third HE. So premium heat is different from your traditional British heavy tank, DPM 3395, and that's the single shot. Don't think the DPM for double gun is you multiply it by 2. That's the DPM 3395. Then pen 272, premium 330, and HE is 55. Doesn't get that hash pen either. Alpha is 350 for primary secondary shells, as well as 440 for HE, 150 module damage. But whenever you're firing dual barrels, just imagine the module damage to be 300. Ammo speed 1400 for APDS and 900 for heat and HE. No silver bonus because it is a tier 10. You don't really get silver boost. Just it behaves like tech tree. Only advantage is you can transfer between crews for free. So overall, I like this tank. It's much better than I initially thought. Initially, I thought you can't fire the second gun until the first is reloaded, so what's the point? But when I played it, it is like a 700 alpha and much better than other tanks. For example, Chalk, which has 750 or even 100 750, you don't get a PCR. There's solid shell velocity with that 700 alpha, keeping the same gun depression and DPM. Because tank like E100 and Chalk, what do they have? They have, of course, they have higher HP, right, and better side armor. But they have like 1800 of base DPM or 2100, so very slow. So this one is essentially a better 700 alpha tank because it has a better gun, but the armor is a little less, but still have 8 degrees of gun depression, which is workable. So overall, I like this tank, but let's see how this performs in the battlefield. I am in El Alamein, a very solid matchmaking besides one artillery. Other than that, we have decent amount of heavies, couple mediums, one light, and 3 TD. So overall, solid matchmaking. It's a big map, beautiful map, of course. This is my favorite map. Nonetheless, so going forward, team destruction going towards the 2 line. And as I said before, you have to play on the 700 alpha. I made a mistake here. I thought I had both barrels selected, but didn't realize that. And that's the mistake you can make time to time. You will get those openings where you could have penned the guy for 700, but you'll only do 350 damage because you forgot to switch to double barrels, as it starts with single barrel by default. I wish it started with double though. So going forward, getting into position. Didn't want to play where our mediums are playing on the right side, as I will get sniped from the back side. Looking for an opening here. T62, there it is, the first shot. Does have low alpha for a single shot, and that's why I don't even recommend, because you will always get out traded. And here, realizing my mistake, that I'm being a bot playing on a single shot and switching to double barrel. So always remember, do not play on single shot unless you're confirming a kill. Can't really peek safely here, as they're all behind the ridges. Our light tank is on the right side, or on 6 line, and we do have some support, so I won't get shot from the right. So thinking about rotating here, as all of these tanks are hull down, and if I peek a little bit more, I can get shot from the B4 or B5, sniping his hill as well. So a little micro rotation coming in for better farming. And once I get tucked in inside, I should be okay. And this would provide me better angles to shoot on the left. And this is where this tank comes in, that AP DS shell velocity. I only pen one shot here though. So that can also happen time to time. But in general, the gun is very, very accurate, and 80% or 90% of the time, I will pen both shells. In this situation, twist to single shot because he was one shot. And otherwise, double shot. And there's the back. There's the back of FV225. Should have gone for the engine there instead of turret. Finally have our first double pen. You will also notice the updated VFX or SFX whenever we are shooting or someone's dying. So that's pretty nice, you know. Any update to your surrounding environment makes the game, or give a game, a brand new look or feel. Again, side shot onto the FV. A lot of FV225 you'll see, of course, why not? It is essentially a free tank that I call. And if you don't buy every tank, this is the one you have to buy, right? I say always buy the basic season pass. And depending on if you're a Cold War gamer or World War II and what ultimate season pass tank it is, if you're Cold War, always buy the Era 3. And if you're a World War II gamer, always buy the tier 10 or tier 9 because it takes forever to grind, and 4000 gold isn't that much, especially if you play the game. 3600 damage, now pushing forward. Missed the shot on the light, 80-60. Also very solid, strong tank. Feels like a better tier 10 than most. It does have a trolley armor as well. So it's taking my time so I don't miss. But a beautiful pen. He tracks me. I got lucky though. I always get pen on the track though. This was just like a lucky scenario. Here I wish I could have fired the single shot. But that's the tank, right? It is just a 700 alpha tank. With occasional 350 alpha if you want to clean up. And then you'll be loaded quickly, right? Do not think of it as a dual barrel tank. The more you stress on it, the worse you'll play, because you'll just keep missing that component. You're like, I want to shoot the one gun and so on. It is not that, and I like about it. It's a unique mechanic itself. It's not the same, and to be honest, it is better than ST2. It is not as sluggish, not as slow. The standard is APDS and has solid shell velocity, not that slow AP. And I don't like heat as premium shell because you have to kind of choose, right, when to fire heat, when to fire APCR. The good thing about it is I'll be using standard shell more and we'll be making silver, which I do need these days because of all the tanks with silver we can get, especially the higher tiers. And even it's not the worst thing to have heat because the single shell reload is pretty quick. So if you see something, and since you always be playing on the single shell most of the time, you can switch one shell or you can switch both, as reload is very respectable. No issues with the reload, no issues with the gun handling. Mobility is okay as well. As you can see, this is medium terrain. I still managed to hit 40, 42. It's not as sluggish, not as mobile as, of course, Chieftain either, but you won't feel as sluggish as SC2. It does have, I would say, the lower end of hit points of 2200, but overall seems like a solid tank. I don't think it needs any buff, but who knows, you know, premium tanks get buff all the time. Like Highlander got a buff recently for the second time. So pushing the last few tanks to get some additional damage. Again, I made a mistake. I'm still on single shot because I was shooting the light tank and forgot to switch, and here I will miss out on the opportunity to shoot FV in the side. I only pen single, and by the time I'll reload, he will be dead. So do not make the mistake of firing single shell, as you'll miss out on the damage. In other news, the regiments are also live, and we do have a community clan, link in description. If you don't know, you will now earn Regi coins, the currency, for playing while you're in the regiment, and then additional points if you're playing with your regiment members. So we created just a community clan. There's no requirement if you want to join. Not in the regiment already, you can give it a go. If you're already in a regiment, again, there's no difference. You just earn points by being in a regiment and playing with the regiment members. So that's it for this video. Do let me know in comments, what do you think about this tank? Are you planning to get the ultimate season pass so you can get this tank, skin, and commander for 4k gold? Or what's your thought on the season so far? Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one, and have a great rest of your day. Overall, it's a balanced tank, by the way, not broken at all.